And now let's move, because some of these pillars of actions are indeed some work that we are doing at Blue Bio Alliance to give infrastructures and support to startups that need to test and demonstrate. We have the Blue Demo Network with services provided by our associates as well. We promote these connections, bringing academia, startups, and big companies and small and medium enterprises to raise visibility and to help them to grow. And indeed, we have here a big picture, not only of the marine bioresources, thank you so much, Tanya, but also of the applications of the marine bioresources and the blue biotechnology. And to give you some examples of the different value chains that we have at Blue Bio Alliance, and this really aligned. The column of microalgae was really high. We would like to move on this presentation and indeed start by a raw material that is used not only in Portugal, but also at Europe and global level. We know that, I think, in Europe, but my next guest will tell us all about this. We have more than 200 companies producing algae, I would say micro and macro and seaweeds. And so it is a marine bioresource well exploited with potential market, and also one of the target bioresources not only from the European Commission, but also here in Portugal. And without further ado, let's start by the beginning of the value chain. So to hear about microalgae, how is it going in Portugal, how is the scenario in Portugal to produce microalgae, and also to commercialize products coming from the exploitation of this this resource, not only marine, but also aquatic resource. I would like to invite Bruno Sommer Ferreira, that for you, I believe that you know, is someone with a track record in blue biotechnology in Portugal, was one of the founders of Blue Bio Alliance as well. And so, Bruno, I would like to invite you now, today, representing A4F, Algae for Future. So please join the conversation and let's hear what you are doing. We can move on with the presentation. So I would like to follow your advice, yes, because we have to avoid jumping into the floor. And so let's keep the value chain moving on. We have the microalgae, and now let's hear what we can do with microalgae, with seaweeds, when we look at the specific compounds that we can extract, and then we can add value. And for that, we have Helena Amaro from Inclita Seaweed Solutions that is paving the way in the valorization of extracts for different markets, and we will hear in the next moments. And also, not only extracts from microalgae and from seaweeds, but other marine bioresources that come from the diverse and very, very particular microorganisms that we have, fortunately, in Azores Island. We have Miguel Pombo, representing here Azores Life Science, the brand Ignite. Thank you so much, Miguel, for joining us. And let's stop here the value chain regarding the extracts and the valorization of extracts from microalgae and from seaweeds. And let's move for other players that we have in our network, that is the aquaculture. We know that not being directly connected with aquaculture, blue biotechnology is important, not only for the feed formulations, for novel compounds, avoiding here the use of vaccines, of antibiotics, bringing here novelties to promote the welfare of the animals, namely of fish. We have another important value chain. We could have here some examples of sustainable aquaculture, for sure, of fish, because we have in the integrated systems, in RAS systems. However, we want to introduce an important case study that is part of our network that brings the blue biotechnology covering all the value chain, from let's say, the cultivation or the production until the market. For that, I would like to invite Andrea Cruz, representing Oceano Fresco, and will join us also to let us know all this value chain. Welcome. And last but not least, someone has to be the last one, but we bring some because this is really important. since regarding the valorization of marine bioresources, we see always every year new trends and also new purchase from the market. And my next guest, also representing an important part of the network that we have at Blue Bio Alliance, not only with solutions, but also representing those that are looking for solutions to promote sustainable and circular processes. I would like to invite Barbara Light from RDD Textiles that will give us the big picture of how innovation and how the textile industry is looking for this value chain of marine bioresources. And now I think we are all together representing here important value chains, and we can start with your overview regarding microalgae production and also what you are doing at A4F.
Thank you so much. I don't know if I have the control over the slides. Or here it is. So good morning, everybody. It's always a pleasure to be in the BIOMEET event, being one of the dinosaurs of this sector. Oh, there's one older than me there. So, but fortunately, there is a rejuvenescence pills coming the way, so we still have a long time to go. And in this industry, but it's also a pleasure to see how this event has grown and see how many stands we have outside. So I think it's a very good sign that biotechnology is actually going out of the universities and going to the market in the various fields that biotechnology can play a role in. I will present very briefly A4F. Some of you probably know me from a different type of industry, but it all makes sense in the end. So A4F was born as alga fuel right at the hype of the biofuels, and everybody thought that algae would provide the fuel for the future. This was a very important step in the development of algae technologies. It did collapse miserably, but most of the technologies which are used today for sectors that can actually be benefited by all the technologies and all the features that these wonderful biological systems can bring, all those technologies have a very big push back then. And without that, probably we would be still very lagging in time. And actually, all the systems like the bioreactors that you see on the slide had a tremendous push at that time. So it started as A4F algae fuel in 2008. Over the time, A4F became a group of companies. I actually only joined the group 4 years ago, when the company that I founded, BioTrend, joined the group. And the reason was that we actually shared in common the fact that we are mostly technology providing companies. So we design systems to effectively scale up the production of different products using different biological systems. A4F, of course, microalgae to begin with. BioTrend is specialized in fermentation technologies for multiple markets. And more recently, A4F also engaged in the development of activities and systems for the controlled production of seaweed or microalgae. We also have within the group AlgaeKey, which is a trading company of algae products. And the recent addition, GRA Nutra, is a company, a joint venture between A4F and the Swiss partner, which has new technologies for effectively formulating ingredients and bringing those to market. So it's a company which received a recent sizable investment, and we hope that we will be opening up a new production plant nearby Lisbon within 1.5 years' time. You'll know a little bit more about it by the end of the year. Also recently, 3 years ago, A4F bought Solvay Portugal. And I will explain a little bit more about that, why we did that. No, we're not crazy. There's a rationale behind it. And today, in addition to our biotech businesses, we also produce sodium chlorate, which is one of the businesses that we inherited from Solvay, which has as side product hydrogen. And increasingly green hydrogen, and in the future, hydrogen will actually be the main product of HiChem. We're very much based on knowledge and highly qualified people. So we are a team of more than 50 people. And I say in the slide, more than 50% are PhD and masters. I would say more than 90% are PhDs and masters, with around 15 PhD human resources working across the different companies. Very strong in running collaborative research projects. And the main business of A4F is actually developing technologies, developing culture systems for other companies. And we have in our track records 5 units built and operated from R&D to commercial scale. Currently building 4 more units in different continents and engaging in new projects in different continents as well, mostly in Middle East, Africa, and Asia these days. So what we do, applied R&D, contract R&D, and technology supply, and finally, industrial projects. In the R&D track records, we have a very significant track record of projects, particularly European projects, but also a proud member of the Pacte Bioeconomie Azul that we just mentioned. And strangely enough, as although there's a vertical dedicated to algae in Pacte Bioeconomie Azul, A4F is not part of it. So we wanted to engage the company not only focusing on algae, but on what the target industries may like. So we're very active in the aquaculture vertical, in the textile vertical, and in the biomaterial vertical in order to, this actually reflects our role. Our role is to bring algae technologies to scale, to such a scale and efficiency that it can actually serve industries which require large volumes, security of supply, and so on. So we have a pilot plant in Pasto Lumiar in the former, actually BIOMEET campus. This is one of the few microalgae facilities in Europe which is certified for GMO production of microalgae, and we have experience in, I would say, most cultivation systems that have been thought of, and in a wide variety of micro and macroalgae. And finally, industrial projects. So we've set at the time what was the largest microalgae production plant in Europe, in a biocement plant of Cecil in Pataias. And more recently, we're finishing up the setup of a multi-species production plant in Póvoa de Santaria, side by side with the HiChem production plant. And this also reflects our attempt to have always kind of a circular and economy concept and industrial symbiosis as we capture the CO2 and effluents which are rich in nutrients that can be used in the microalgae production. And finally, close to Aveiro in Vagos, we are reconverting abandoned aquaculture ponds to set up a brand new macroalgae cultivation facility, an onshore macroalgae cultivation facility, and we'll come back to that a little bit later. Thank you so much. It took a little bit more than 3 minutes. Sorry for that.
3 + 1. Thank you so much, Bruno, for this big picture. We will explore later on some of the markets that you are addressing, but this is for our conversation. And this was a nice motto to move to the next guest speaker. Indeed, you are building now a new unit to produce in a sustainable way seaweeds. And the seaweeds that for sure will be very useful for companies and for startups that are looking to add value and also to bring new products because they need raw material. and to tell us the story and also to introduce the roadmap of Inclita Seaweed Solutions. I invite Helena Amaro. Please, the floor is yours. So tell us everything.
Thank you so much, Nota.
No, almost.
The invitation to invite Inclita Seaweed Solutions to be here today. We are completely thrilled to share our experience and our short talk. I'm sorry. Can you hear? Okay, now it's good. Well, we all know seaweed. Seaweeds have been used since centuries for every civilizations around the world. And they were used not only for feed, for agriculture purposes, as a fertilizers, but also because of their healing properties. Well, but despite this long history about use of seaweeds, the truth is that the full potential of seaweeds have been hidden so far. And in this new era of sustainability and the need for looking for new natural resources to promote the well-being, bring Inclita Seaweed Solutions at this point, that we try to stand out, to bring the full potential of seaweeds, to turn this old natural resource into a high-value natural resource. So what we used to say is that we attempt to bring the goodness from the seaweed, to improve the valorization of seaweeds by extracting bioactive compounds with high commercial value to be applied not only in the cosmetics or nutraceuticals, but in another many cross industries. So we were born in the lab. We're a very passionate research team that from the last 20 years developed a lot of research about exploiting the potential of seaweeds of several species from all around the world and trying to implement and develop new methodologies that would allow us in a sustainable way to improve and to show the world the potential of seaweeds. So in 2018, we feel able to step out the academy and start in business. So what we try to do, or what we do, is to develop seaweed-based ingredients that are applied in several kinds of industries. And for that, we develop several methodologies that allow us to take the full advantage of seaweeds. This means that we develop a biorefinery system that allows us to take all the benefits that we can from the same biomass. And not only this increases the sustainability and the value of the seaweeds, but also allow us to cross industries and apply the residual biomass, for example, for another purposes, such as textiles to produce dyes, to produce fertilizers, to obtain new bio-based materials. And this is how we pretend to be different, we pretend to be bold, we pretend to use and to study, and we have a deep knowledge about all the seaweeds, because each seaweed from each location is special, the potential is special. So we pretend to unlock this potential and to turn it in a valuable profit. So along our path, we have very strong core values. Sustainability is the pillar, the basis of our company. Innovation, we try to bring innovation not only by exploiting the seaweed potential, but developing new methodologies that make blue biotechnology a profitable tool to be applied in the industry. We have a transparency process, because we not only develop our own ingredients, but we do co-development projects. So transparency with our partners and with our clients is something that we need to do to be trustful. Nonetheless, we cooperate with the several cross industries. Growing together, we go far. So, with the increasing demand of natural-based products and more sustainable products, make us believe that in cosmetics, in nutraceuticals, food and beverage, and pet care, seaweed-based ingredients would make a difference, would increase the high demand of natural compounds. And these are our core markets. Nonetheless, let's not forget that seaweeds are a champion about sustainability from the very since beginning. As Tanya showed us, seaweeds, algae, microalgae, they are photosynthetic, so they have by itself a very important role in CO2 capture, in wastewater regeneration, but also they have some advantages when in comparison with other natural sources. They don't need fresh water, they don't need arable land, so since by starting they make a strong point about sustainability. And at this point, at Inclita, we unlock several potential of seaweeds, not to be applied only in the cosmetics industry, for example, due to their antioxidant, anti-pigmentation, sun protection factors, but also applying these bioactives in the formulation of nutraceuticals and in some way developing new technologies and innovative ingredients to be applied. So we all would like to ask to join us. We invite you all to join us in the seaweed revolution and make this a profitable and a star in the future.
You're absolutely right. The consumer awareness is very needed for the acceptance of the products coming from the use of seaweeds. And let's hear about it, how people is consuming and using the products coming from IGNAI. And for that, I will invite Miguel to tell us a story different from the basis, the science and technological base of Inclita Seaweed Solutions, but a very interesting story as well regarding the position where you are now. So Miguel, go ahead, please tell us the story.
Thank you so much. Thank you. So it's actually a good thing speaking in English because I have a very thick Azorian accent when I start getting excited about something. So I think you will understand me better if, speaking in English. Thank you so much for your time. It's such a pleasure to be here today. I'm humbled by all these companies that are doing like groundbreaking things. The panel before, big fan of Crisei since the time they first started showing up on the news, and also Sol Farco, who was here before. I mean, for us working in cosmetics, they're like a rock star all around the world. So I think they're not, they don't get the credit they deserve in Portugal as they do in the rest of the world, and I think Crisei is probably also a very similar case. So starting with Azores Life Science. Oops, sorry. It was the other way around. So, no. So we are a company, so we started as a biotech company in 2012. I was working as an intern in a lobby firm in Brussels, so I was the intern, so they put me on the most boring job, which was the regulatory affairs. So no one wanted to work on it, and I had no choice. So, but because of that, we started realizing that we had in the Azores Islands a lot of ingredients that were being very in demand in the cosmetic industry and in the pharma industry. So I decided to come back and started Azores Life Science based on this premise that the Azores had a unique biodiversity, as Dr. Tanya Vinagre was saying before. I mean, biodiversity usually means good biochemistry. So that was the rationale. So I decided to come back, so we look at microorganisms from Azores and the activities that they can that they present, and use them for many different applications. The most well known is of course cosmetics. Why extremophiles? Because this is what we're focusing since 2012 and more recently now, because they are unique microorganisms and ever since I was working in Belgium for a pharma company, they were already establishing a small research group that was trying to extract value from these microorganisms. So because no one else was doing it, so I thought it was a good, and this is not the way to launch a business, or you should not do this, you know, because it sounds cool, but at the time, you know, there's artificial intelligence and natural stupidity. In my case, it's the latter. So I decided to start looking for it, and ever since we started, we were able to find many interesting ingredients. We started with cosmetics because the regulatory hurdles are, of course, much lower. The barriers are, I wouldn't say non-existent, but I mean, if you compare it to other fields of activity, it is of course much easier. We first launched in 2017. We had our first product was very popular because Kim Kardashian. We were lucky because we were probably going to close a few months after because we had no money, and then we sent these products to her esthetician. She shared it with Kim Kardashian, and then we started launching in Portugal. No one cared about us until Kim Kardashian started to use the products. We launched in Hong Kong, United States, Thailand, many places around the world. So, I mean, it was luck. We also have, of course, many other ingredients that we are now planning to launch in different pipelines. So we have just a small side note, the first ingredient that we launched was an extract that we used from colostrum. So there was this bacteria that reacted with bovine colostrum and generated these polysaccharides. So, and I had a really, I like practicing boxing, so I got a really nasty scar, and that's why my nose is also not centered, by the way. So, but I had a really nasty scar here, and I applied the product on me. I was the first guinea pig, and it really helped accelerate the closure of the wound. So I realized that we had a good product, so we launched as a cosmetics company, and now we have many ingredients using algae. We have a very promising active molecule that inhibits TNF-alpha, tumor necrosis factor alpha, interleukins 1, 6, and 8. So we're going to launch that very shortly with a company that is our partner. We have an antithrombotic active that we tested and synthesized it extensively, and we're going to enter an agreement now with a pharmaceutical in the US to do a preclinical trial on human cadavers because it inhibits the formation of varicose veins and, of course, blood clots. We now also have a new business unit for AI. So we just acquired genomic sequencing capabilities, and we got but we had no money for the AI computing power that is needed to do such thing. So we approached Google and we told them what we were doing. So we were very lucky to get a €350,000 grant from Google precisely to use the artificial intelligence capabilities. So with that, we were able already to find 2 new actives. Just to give you an idea, so from one hydrothermal vent in the bottom of the Azores Ocean, we were able to find in 9 hours about 60,000 peptides. So with our model that we have used to refine this search, we have identified in the next 2 hours 5,000 that are specifically particularly effective at killing multi-resistant bacteria in hospitals. We have, of course, the IGNEI range, where we have all these famous people talking about the products and why they like them. We sell all around the world in many hotels, but now the focus is really on the actives that we have and going to market with those actives. I'm happy to inform that one of our new investors is a publicly listed company in NASDAQ, and they're going to launch a supplement range with a very famous footballer, not the most famous footballer in the world, one of probably the second or third, but so our ingredients from algae will be on this range. So they will be made in Portugal, of course, developed in Portugal, so it makes us very, very happy. Thank you so much, and sorry for taking too much of the time.
+2, Miguel, but okay, thank you so much. Because you bring here also a nice insight that is regarding the digital, and the next guest speaker will also introduce not only a different value chain and a different marine bioresource, but also how blue biotechnology can afford or can tackle different challenges, bringing the biodiversity conservation, including regenerative aquaculture. I won't make the presentation for you, Andrea, but I have to say this because it's important so that we can pass this message that indeed blue biotechnology can tackle different challenges that not only directly connected with the blue bioeconomy. And so, without further ado, let's hear all the value chain and how blue biotechnology was included in the value chain of Oceano Fresco. Go ahead, Andrea, and thank you.
Thank you, Elizabeth. So thank you first for the invitation to be here, share the floor with you, and share also what we do at Oceano Fresco. I don't know if you can put the presentation there. Maybe is yours, right?
Okay, if we can start, is the number 4. So if not, we can move in the value chain, and then we come back to Andrea, to Oceano Fresco. And so, Andrea, you did not give me the word to change to the textiles, but let's use the motto brought by Elena, and indeed, and also by Bruno, that mentioned that indeed not only from algae, but from the extracts, we can bring here bioformulations, pigments, fibers, and Barbara will tell us how the textiles are looking to the marine bioresources and what they are looking for. And so I think now we have the presentation number 5. So let's see the first slide, please. Can you see the first slide? Just to check if we don't have to move to Oceano Fresco.
It's not moving there.
So I think in the meantime, you can start telling about RDD textiles, yes, and when you were born and why you were created.
Yes, I can start presenting RDD. So good morning, everyone. I will briefly introduce RDD. RDD is a textile company which born in 2017 as a department of another company. But in 2021, we created this RDD as a company, as an individual company. I think there is only in the world 3 companies similar to RDD, 2 in Portugal, one is RDD and another in Spain. But we different from the other ones because we have integrated, we are part of a vertical group from Portugal where we have almost all the supply chain for textiles. I will say almost because unfortunately in Portugal we are not fiber producers. We are importing all the fibers that we use, from cotton to the most innovative or sustainable fiber. What we are doing is the recycling mechanical process for cotton, so that's why we can not produce from the beginning, but do the recycling process for cotton. And then we can have access to all the supply chain, and what RDD is doing is to work with each of these companies, understand what they are missing, what they need to change in their conventional processes, what we can change in the type of chemicals that they are using, what we can change in the type of dyes or inks, for example, on the printing process, and what RDD can do in terms of process and products, because at the end we are a company that are selling fabrics for fashion, but we are only selling innovative fabrics based on new technologies. So yesterday there was already someone that highlighted some of the negative impacts on textiles. I will not discuss about this today, just to give you like brief numbers and to give you the idea that we need to act not only Portugal, in Europe, and with the new regulation that we'll have in the near future, we need to act under these negative impacts and try to solve some of the issues that we are facing now. And RDD is doing that in two ways. In the co-creation process, where we have the product development team working on the development of sustainable fabrics, for example, made by responsible fibers, or with R&D team on the tech exploration side, we are connecting with innovators, exploring solutions, trying to scale up the processes and implement in the textile supply chain. So now I will try to give you some examples of some things that is possible to do right now that is already on the market. The first one is an example of a sustainable materials. There is a fiber recognized on the market. I know if someone knows about lyocell, but it's possible to buy in fashion brands. And there is a special fiber made in a similar process as lyocell, which is based on the use of wood pulp to produce the fiber using a chemical process. And this C-cell fiber is made not only by the wood pulp, but also with the seaweeds extract during the chemical processing of the fiber. And on the sustainable processes, I bring today two different examples of colors extracted from algae. The first one is based on the use of algae waste from different processes. They produce algae for different processes, for cosmetic, for pharmaceuticals, and with the waste it can produce a powder, a black powder, and we are applying on the screen printing process and also on the garment dye process. So it's the only color that we can dye or print, but it's possible to replace the dark gray or the black color. And other innovator produce different colors, orange, blue, yellow, pink, but we can only dye specific fibers. And just to give you an example of what we have been doing with these, last 2 weeks ago, the Portuguese World Skills Federation, I don't know if it's like a federation, but it's a competition that was in Lyon, I think, from the technical skills that we have 13 competitors from Portugal, and we made the t-shirt for the competitors was based on the use of different innovation from the fiber to the dyeing process, and one of the dyeing process was based also on the use of algae. So with this presentation, I want to highlight some of the examples of what we can do in the textiles sector using marine bioresources. Unfortunately, they are not from Portuguese innovators. I'm not sure if there is any Portuguese innovator at this moment or that we can work with them and implement the technology in the textile sector, but I think that we have like a lot of ideas and something that we can do in this sector.
Yesterday we could hear a project working
yes.
in bringing some solutions.
Yes.
I think they are here today, so also for them this could be a nice conversation to have, because you see where the market is pushing, and so great if we can move to the final pitch again. So I think that Andrea can now make the presentation of Oceano Fresco and now introducing us. Yes, go ahead, Andrea,
yes.
and thank you.
Let's go. So, Oceano Fresco. As is written there, so we are using biotech to support our activities. So we are not using the biotechnology for the product per se, but to improve our product. So it's missing a slide. Okay. So what is Oceano Fresco? 3 main ideas. So we are aquaculture, a bivalve aquaculture company, a private company that uses innovative technologies for what? To produce high-value products. In this case, high-value species, European species, native species from Europe. Why we exist? To solve a problem. One of those is a global food crisis. all of us, we know that the protein demand is needed, is being needed, and it will be needed in the future. And we think that nature already have a solution. And the solution can be if we eat low trophic species like clams or oysters or other bivalves. Another thing that we are solving is that until now aquaculture is being very rudimentary, small scale, and the traditional way to do it is like this one. This is a picture from Spain that is one of the biggest markets in fact in Portugal, but it's still like this. So we think that there is here a big window to improve and industrialize some of the processes. So one of the solutions is, as Elizabeth already mentioned, to farm in a way that we can regenerate the nature. And why this regeneration? Because we are working with species that already are good for the environment, capture CO2, for example, and filtrate the water naturally, and we are not feeding artificially the individuals. So we are using what the nature already have available to farm the clams or the oysters in this case. So we think that we can regenerate the nature if we farm and eat better. Where we are based, we have a biomarine center at Nazaré, where we have an hatchery where we produce the small seed, the small babies of the clams or the oysters. Also, we have innovation labs and offices. And then, after we create that babies, they are transported to the open sea farm, that is the first one in the world for clams. And that is in Algarve, 5.5 kilometers in the coast, where we have about 100 hectares. And what we can see is, as we can see in this image, is lines. All of the structure is submerged, and we use, like we do in agriculture, for example, they use the tractor. Our tractor is a boat, so we use boats to do our activity. Where is entering the biotechnology? So at Ocean Fresco we have and we are facing several challenges throughout all of the value chain that we divide in these 6 main areas. And biotechnology is entering, for example, it's just an example, in the R&D production innovation. So we are improving and looking for new algae that are the food for the baby clams. Also, how to improve the production methodologies. And then, for example, if we go to the second one, we have a selective breeding innovation program. What is this? Is a program that where we use exactly selective selection capability tools that can be genomics, can be different kinds of tools to increase the precision and to accelerate the selection of the best brood stock that then will give the best progeny. So what we are increasing is the performance of the clams that we are producing. And then, for example, we are also, and if we continue following the value chain, new products, and this means we are not only selling fresh clams or fresh oysters, but also processed ones. And for that, we are using several biotechnology methods. Following, of course, we are not doing this alone, so we have a lot of external collaborations, research institutes, but also different companies covering, again, all value chain. And at the end, what we would like is that, like these journalists that have a great experience with the clams is that everyone, our consumers, would have this experience with our products. Thank you. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Andrea. And now we will start, since we are here, raising visibility and the potential of the marine bioresources that we have, of the research that we do in Portugal, but our main focus is to understand how entrepreneurs are doing in Portugal, and indeed, if from Portugal to the world, we are at a competitive level. And for that, we will start with the algae sector. We know there is a market to grow with a high potential to grow. We know there is not enough the algae that are being produced, and we would like to understand from your point of view how is right now in Portugal. Are we leading the production of microalgae? What do we have to do to achieve a higher market? Where are the main obstacles are in the production or in developing of new products and then bring them to the market?
Very difficult question. And if I may, because the title of the session is the biotechnological potential of marine resources, and I would like also to underline the fact and also reflecting the scope of activities of the A4F group. We're not only talking about algae, either micro or seaweed, but also all sorts of marine microorganisms that Tanya mentioned. So we have very relevant activity in the production of marine microorganisms for different industries, from the cosmetic, relaying a little bit with the previous presentation as well, with strains from extreme environments as well, and also from for protists, which are these little microorganisms which you don't really know whether they're fungi or algae, but have a tremendous role in the actual food chain, because these are the bugs that do produce the omega-3 fatty acids that then enter the whole of the food chain. And we're proud enough to have developed some of the most productive processes out there which produce these microorganisms. So I would say that there's a lot of potential and a lot of knowledge within Portugal to be a player in the technology. I think we must think on, right from the start, of course, what do we do that differentiate, or what can we do that to differentiate ourselves from the rest? And the short answer is not that much, unless we look at our own resources, which may be different. So we have access to different ecosystems. We have specific geographical conditions that allow us to tap into a huge biodiversity which is not available everywhere. And since that has been from the Azores to the continent, and the continent has very different areas, from the ocean to tidal areas to the estuaries, which are become even more saline. So we have a lot of places where we can tap biodiversity from. We have a lot of people that have been trained from the marine biology, microbiology, biochemistry, engineering, that can actually start doing something which I hate when people say that we have unculturable organisms or microorganisms. I don't believe that exists. Every organism can be cultured. We don't know enough about them in order to culture them effectively. And I think we do have really excellent conditions in order to tap into nature and sustainably source from nature different bioresources. Where do we struggle more is what Pedro is doing, is transforming technology, transforming science, and go to market and have a product out there. And apparently you are doing that as well. So congrats for that, because that's really challenging. And I think that on the that end of the value chain, we're still learning a lot. We're still improving. And it's good time that we realize, okay, if there's something that we don't know how to do extremely well, let's partner with people do it extremely well. But the underlying conditions, they're all there.
So from your point of view, maybe the struggle for microalgae could be the market entrance or the scale.
The market interest is there for sure. The market interest may be biased towards specific segments and price points, which, depending on the application, may translate into a scale and cost of production issue. So if you're looking for more commodity applications, like if you're targeting textile industry, you need to have scale, and to some extent you need to have low cost. Otherwise, you will not make it beyond some niche applications or showcase applications. So definitely scale has been a struggle. But as I mentioned in the track record that we have, we've been progressively building plants with higher scale and try to change a little bit the concept. In most pictures that you've seen, and now turning to microalgae specifically, we've been trying to do with microalgae what we do in fermentation, which is having a production system in which you only have your algae being cultivated there. That's extremely tough for microalgae. They grow a little bit slower than most contaminants. And if you try to have closed system, it becomes immediately much more expensive. So we're testing different philosophies in which we don't work against nature, but try to have nature work with us, understanding a little bit how ecosystems work. And so try to transition for the more large-scale applications, very simple, low capex, low OPEX systems, in which we don't have only our algae present there, but co-cultivated with other organisms that actually may help controlling contaminations, and in some instances even boost the production of our target product. So that's the way we see it going, and potentially addressing higher volume, lower cost applications.
Thank you for your sharings. I will ask, because this will be a shared question to move to Helena, there is regarding the trends. Where is the market pushing? We know food, feed, but there are other applications where microalgae, and then in the case of your extracts, is this to understand why you decided to include cosmetics and applications that you included in your roadmap. So I will first hear your thoughts, and then Helena, you tell us why you decided to start by cosmetics.
So we see a lot of real opportunities in refining. We see a lot of interest on the market for new materials, sustainably sourced biomaterials. They will not always come from the ocean, of course. A lot of them will be plant-based, but automotive industry, construction industry across Europe is looking very hard for sustainably sourced materials that can replace like insulating materials like biodegradable plastics. And will we grow biomass specifically for that purpose? We could potentially, but most of these biomasses have really nice and functional ingredients that can be used actually by Inklita, for example. So we're true believers that there's a demand across the spectrum of applications. But of course, like in pretty much every other field, we need to make compatible the scale of production with the cost of production and try to extract as much value from 100% of the biomass if possible.
Okay. So, Helena, just to understand, why did you decide how was your decision regarding the target market?
Okay, because of two main reasons. Because of the market trends, cosmetics and nutraceuticals are in the top three market tendencies from the next decade. And also because in terms of legislation and regulatory issues, cosmetics is the most easy way to enter. One big advantage of seaweeds is they are known for many centuries. So in terms of regulatory, we are not constricted very much because of that. There are a lot of seaweed extracts that are known, they are considered safe. It's an easy way and more fast way to the market. Nutraceuticals are facing a high demand for innovation, and here the nutritional potential of seaweeds can differentiate. Seaweeds have been used for food for so many centuries, so again the regulatory issues is not a constraint. There are a lot of species that are allowed for food. Recently, other species have been entered the novel food catalog as well. So we have a quite easy and quick response since development till put our ingredients in the market. So this is the two main reasons. Nonetheless, the formulation of biomaterials can support the sustainability production of ingredients for cosmetic of nutraceuticals. We have physical residues that can be used for other purposes, for other cross industries, and we can support altogether the sustainability of the marine resources. So I think they are the main reasons why cosmetics, nutraceuticals, and biomaterials are the fastest track to put biotechnological products into market.
But right now, in terms of maturity, where is your position? So you are in the phase of technology proof, or you are already putting your products, your extracts in the end users, so you have a market?
Yes, we have a market. We have a launched product in Algae Ox. Now currently is being used in a Portuguese brand of cosmetics, so it's a product that is already in the market. We are a business-to-business industry. So one of the reasons, or one thing that supports a blue biotechnology company is have a short-term vision and a long-term vision that allow us to develop and be attractive to the industry. So by now we have, before we start the company, we had 20 years of experience. So we develop a lot of knowledge that supports easy appliance of easy development and quick appliance of the ingredients in the market. Very soon, this month, we are going to have another product to be launched in cosmetics industry, and we have two more to be launched till the end of the year. So having a very clear roadmap of we can do, and have a very structured and prepared knowledge that's and a scalable kind of industry, I think it's the main secret to be easily and quickly and with some success in the market.
I have then another question just to understand, since you come from science, and indeed,
yes.
Inclita was one of the startups participating at the Blue Bio Value Acceleration Program, yes, promoted by Fundação Oceano Azul, where Blue Bio Alliance is the scientific partner, and it is great for us to see the progress and see that you are still being one of the startups operating, yeah, and we wish to be here as well, keep attending your way. Coming from research and transforming, because we have here audience that is with these feelings. So we heard yesterday that investment can be hard to obtain. Yeah. We know that the team is important. We got these lessons also from yesterday. We know that regulation can be a struggle. But how can those that are making research transform it in a business?
Okay, first of all, we need to show to industry that blue biotechnology is a solution and is a tangible and viable solution. So we can, in short term, to attain a profitable product, we can make a difference. And if you ask me which is the main challenge to reach the industry, since we are science-based, I think it's communication. It's the trouble of all relationships, and also in business. In science, we are very passionate about what we do. We have a lot of technical way of communicating, and I think the big challenge here is to translate the technical parts of science to more attractive and tangible values to industry. So, and once again, making a roadmap, being really aware about our strengths, our weaknesses, about our opportunities, have a well and clear SWOT analysis about our capabilities is a solution, because we are not going to solve all the problems in a super feasible and super quick way, but being aware of our difficulties, and it's a step forward to attain and to solve that problem. If the industry is aware that we have a trouble, but feeling that we are aware and we are working to reach that, give some trust. And along with the technical knowledge and scientific support that makes our ingredients and our technology be a credible thing for investors and for industry.
And now, Miguel, we would like to hear your thoughts, because you are in the other side. You went to look for research. So, and you also touched an important point, the communication, so the marketing, the branding. And so from IGNI, we want to understand, I won't say your trade secret, because you cannot unveil, but lessons that you could share with us. How or which market did you reach out first? And why did you look at the research, and was easy to communicate with those that were exploring the marine, the organisms and the marine bioresources in Azores, and take advantage of this and transform this in a brand such as IGNI is?
Yeah, so I mean, also, picking up on Elena's train of thought, yeah, I think that, the trends are essentially what guides us here. I mean, longevity now, and again, it's what Crise has superbly done with their active. I think it's a big trend right now when it will become dominant in the nutraceutical environment within the next couple of years. I mean, internationally, it's already what we are seeing, a lot of investment going into living longer or living better while we live. So I think that is definitely what guides us, is, I mean, looking at the trends and understanding where can we go, what can we do with less money than others, or less resources, or not being as smart as the others. The Indians have this term called Yugad, which means frugal innovation. It's basically poor people's innovation, and it's what we've been using to guide ourselves from the beginning. We had zero funding in the start. We had to find a way, to tell a story. The Azores, we see this appeal of the place where we come from all around the world. Just to give you a very practical example, while we were in Hong Kong a few months ago, I was speaking to this person I didn't know quite well, but I was telling him what we were doing, and he was so curious that he went to his cell phone, look up the Azores. He was so fascinated by it that 3 weeks after, he was in Azores with his whole research team doing due diligence precisely to invest, because he thought the Azores could be a good selling argument for his supplement range. So we tried to combine all these factors. The research, I mean, it needs to be very solid. Otherwise, we're just selling snake oil. So it needs to be very, and even as far as that's concerned, I definitely think that we as a company need to go a lot further, and our strategic plan for the next few years is precisely to invest in preclinicals and eventually licensing out some actives. But having solid research, something that you can see that works, I think it's crucial. And then combining them, I come from the market side, so combining it with a good selling story, and we've been hearing fascinating stories in the last 2 days here. I think that is, I think the way to go for someone, especially a Portuguese startup, being underfunded as all Portuguese companies are. I think you need to look at all the angles or how to address it if you want to have a chance to succeed. So in our case, it was the aging process from the beginning for cosmetics, and now that we're getting into supplements, the longevity trend, it's a trend that everybody's trying to get into, and it's also the focus of our new project with the extremophiles from Azores, deep sea hydrothermal vents. So that is how we guide our research areas and the bets that we place on each of them.
Okay, thank you. So I know that we are running out of time and we have two voices to hear, but the last question is something that I think that you must share, because usually we focus the investment, we focus on the team, and also you think that the consumer awareness is something, because out of Portugal, people are buying your products in Portugal. How is the market accepting? Do you have a feedback so that we can understand how the power of the branding and how the power of the communication and the marketing can also be something to put in this conversation regarding the way a startup can grow and achieve his own market?
In our specific case, because the products that we sell, especially the in cosmetic products, the price point is a bit higher, you know, so the acceptance in Portugal was always slower. And I mean, actually, we started to sell first in the US before we started selling in Portugal. As I said before, so the only reason people started to consider the brand was because they heard of Kim Kardashian using it. So, you know, only then we started to be taken more seriously in Portugal. So, but that's a specific case. But I do know that some Portuguese companies are having some traction with their supplements. There is an Azorian company called Algicel, which is selling an antioxidant, and I heard it's doing quite well.
Astaxanthin, sorry.
Astaxanthin. So they're doing quite well, I think, in Portugal. I mean, it depends, but I do think that the Portuguese audience, I mean, especially, and this is probably a very biased opinion because it comes mostly from the cosmetics business. I think there's like the adoption of Portuguese products or technologies. I don't think they, you know, quite value what's being like sulfarcos. You know,
yes.
So I mean, they're a huge success all around the world. K18 was bought by Unilever, I think, 4 or 5 months ago. They didn't release, but the numbers. But there were some, you know, rumors about the size of the sale. But it was hugely successful, and I don't even know if you can find K18 shampoos in Portugal. I mean, I really don't. Maybe online, but it's definitely not the hype that it is all around the world. So again, the price point is a bit higher to what we're used to, but I think Portuguese market, because of its, you know, circumstances and the way people were educated to buy, especially this kind of product with a high degree of R&D involved, I think that's probably the reason why there's a late adoption to Portuguese products incorporating research and development.
Thank you so much. Great thoughts, so that we include in our speech as well. So, Andrea, let's move, and you are not in cosmetics. You are in another challenging market, food, bringing here also feed in the process. So, just to understand the position of Oceano Fresco, where are you standing right now? When can we buy the clams coming from Oceano Fresco?
Okay, so we started in 2015. Seems a long time, but for this sector is not so. So in the first years we are doing our proof of concept. So what would be the best species to breed? What would be where we can have the facilities to do the production, then all of the legal things, and then what are the main markets, basically was that. After that, we had to establish the hatchery and then the open sea farm. The licenses took some time, but we got it. So in 2020, we started the production in the hatchery and then later in the open sea farm. And our products, so we think we already launched a very small quantity of cans. Bouillon pato, so clams, bouillon pato, clams with the lemon and the natural one, so that is already in the market. But the biggest quantities and so the ones that we can see in the supermarkets, we think that Christmas or during the next year will appear around. So that's for the fresh clams, and then, as I said, we are also producing other recipes with a bigger shelf life, and that will be able for different markets too. So this will increase our portfolio. So next year, I think you can try clams from Oceano Fresco.
So the last question before I move to Barbara, and then wrap up with all of you regarding your thoughts on 3 quick topics. So just quick topics, yes. Andrea, just to understand right now, or even through this process of Oceano Fresco, where were the main constraints, the main obstacles for you? Because you are making also cultivation offshore. We know you are facing the truth of our ocean. So
I would say that is the technical point of view. So when we started, we faced that aquaculture, and for this species is still very, so the species were not domesticated, so we need to do that job. But on the other hand, we learned a lot from what we see from plants breeding, from fish breeding. So what we are doing, in fact, is bringing that knowledge and see how we can apply it to our species. And then all of the methodologies. And as we are always seeing how we can use the biotech, use digital platforms, all of this that is available. Together with our partners, we are overcome these constraints. And of course, the licenses, I think that is important. If someone wants to go to aquaculture, it's something that is being improved, but is a long journey. And maybe it's one of the biggest constraints, yes.
Okay. Thank you so much. So now, Barbara, we were lucky because you already mentioned some of the case studies that are in the market and that you are looking at, but we want to understand how far is research and the solutions being developed of being implemented by the textile industry. Which are your thoughts and regarding the experience that you have with seaweeds, with bacteria? So where do you think it will be much more easy to include the marine bioresources?
I will say that depends on what we are looking for. For example, if you are looking for fibers based or made by algae, by seaweeds, for example, I will say that there is no solution on the market at this moment. The one that I showed you, there is only a small portion of the fiber with seaweeds. There is any fiber on the market with more than 20% of seaweeds on the composition. There is now one from USA where they developed with 70%, but the price is more than crazy. I will tell you that the first time that we spoke with them, they asked for 10,000 euros for 1 kilo of yarn, and we can pay, like, the maximum is 20 euros, so it's impossible. For 9,000, okay. No, it's impossible, because it's impossible then to buy the product to any brand, because we are consumers. We are not buying a t-shirt for 300 euros if we'll tell that is only based on the raw material that is made from algae. So we know that. We know because we are having conversations with brands and also with consumers, trying to understand the needs of the market, trying to understand what we can do. Regarding the dyeing process, yes, it's possible. Some of the pictures that I bring today, it was from some garments that already we sell for different brands. Also for other process based on the use of microorganisms, we already sell for different brands. But there is some challenge. The price is one of the biggest challenges. Then there is the challenge of the scaling up process, because we need quantity. So we cannot approach a brand if we will not have quantities for them, because we also have minimums of The process that I showed you, there is like minimums for every step of the textile supply chain. So to produce only one t-shirt, we need tons of fiber and then kilos of yarn, kilos of fabric, only to produce 100 t-shirts, for example. So we need to have volumes, price, volumes, and volumes are based on scalability. And then based on innovation and technology, we need also to have the traceability of the process and to understand the savings, what are the differences between the conventional process to the innovative ones, because it's something that the market is always looking for. It's not only to sell a fabric based or dyed with the seaweeds. We need to tell them what they are saving to dye the fabric with seaweeds, because they will pay more for that. And they need also to tell to their customers why they need to pay more for the same t-shirt but dyed in only one color, but dyed with seaweeds. That's why we need to understand the savings, what we are saving in terms of chemicals, for example, on the dyeing process compared to the conventional process, or in water consumption. So it's a work that we are also doing, running some LCAs of some of products and processes that we have at RDD, trying to understand so what we can do also better in the processes.
Thank you. And you mentioned another important issue, that is the communication and the connection between who is doing research, who is starting a business as a startup, and the company that is already producing and is in the market and has the real challenges regarding the scenarios to include the fibers, the pigments, the process, the way they are doing it. So we have to move for these projects that are bringing novelties. They have to move fast, or they have to move with careful and understand better what the market is looking for.
Yeah, need to be carefully, because we need to understand the market. We need to understand the drawbacks, the needs, because we don't need only the product. We need a product with quality. We need a product with price. We need a product with scalability. So I think that we need to have all these conversations with all the stakeholders, and to understand what we have, like in terms of product, and what we can do regarding the process for the best implementation.
Okay, thank you so much. The last challenge would be a need, but then we can, if you can do it fast, the need that you right now you are facing in some seconds, your thoughts?
I'm starving.
I'm sorry, it's a great. So microalgae can feed the population. So nice thought, Elena.
It was all clear that altogether we can make a standpoint in blue biotechnology. We saw several technologies can be working together, and maybe we can reduce the costs and open to new markets and increase the profit of. Because at the end of the day, we all want to make profit.
Thank you. Miguel.
Buy Portuguese products, please.
Great. Andrea, go ahead.
Yeah, I would say sustainability always on the table to produce our products.
I will say partnerships with Portuguese innovators.
Great. So, and from Blue Bio Alliance point of view, we are here facilitating this connection, bringing everything together, and all the players together, hearing your voices, hearing your challenges, and looking for solutions. And so, Tanya Vinagres, thank you so much. Was a great picture of the current scenario regarding the use of marine bioresources. Thank you. Thank you to my special guests regarding our associates, and we are here representing our network, and this is what we do every day. So, raise visibility and give voice to the blue bioeconomy ecosystem. Thank you so much, and have a nice lunch.